Hi.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Jay.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys. I'm Jay from Jay's Sweet and Sour Life, and we're now in the third season of Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. How does it feel to be joining this iconic franchise, and how did you land your roles?
Oh my gosh, to be a part of the Jurassic franchise, first of all, is just a huge blessing alone. Like, to be welcomed in by the fans and sort of, have our show be a small part of this huge Jurassic history is amazing. First of all, I got the show like any other regular audition. I was lucky enough to get an email for this of, hey, we want to hear you read for the role of Sammy. I was actually at my family's tire shop when I recorded the audition in the corner, so I would do it in between of them, like fixing, tire patches and things like that. Hopefully I didn't get too much of the noise in the background. And then I sent it off, and I remember my email writing, fingers crossed, this would be such an amazing franchise to be a part of. I'm such a huge fan. And fast forward like 3 or 4 months, I didn't hear anything right away, which always happens with animation. You never hear anything right away. Got the call that they wanted to see me in person and meet me for a callback, and I showed up at the callback, and it turned out the callback was actually a recording for the pilot, and that's kind of how they told us that we got it, which was amazing. And to come this far, now we're in season 3, and to grow with the characters and grow with our cast and crew, and just to see the fans, excitement over every season, and they can't wait for it to drop, and hearing their theories and their fan art and their seemingly love letters to the franchise. It's so amazing to be a part of. I feel like now I see dinosaurs everywhere, like literally Jurassic is everywhere, and I definitely was aware of it before, but now, because I'm so immersed in the show, I'm like the #1 fan of my own show. I'm such a huge fangirl. I'm so lucky to be a part of this show.
Yeah, and I mean, I think me and Raini's kind of like introductions into the series were kind of the same. Like, I auditioned the same way. Before, I think the show was called Chomp.
Chomp
was what it was originally labeled as. Because of course it was, of course, like confidential. I don't think that was like the original name for it. I don't know, but I know that I remember recording this the first time, and I had no idea that it was going to be this Jurassic World spinoff / prequel / sequel. Right. And then like Raini said, I think 3 or 4 months later, they called me in for a callback, and I was like, oh yes, of course, I would love to do this. And then this producer session, after I had gotten done with it, they started playing the original Jurassic Park music as I was walking out of the studio that I was recording in. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so funny, because this is, and then it started occurring to me like, wait, is this related to the franchise? And then they had called me in for a test session with that was the first time I had recorded with Brand on the show, which is Benjamin Flores Jr. That was my first time meeting him. Awesome person. And then they had called me back and said that I got it. And I was like super stoked and so grateful, because to be a part of something this monumental and this groundbreaking is just, I have no words for it.
But just for the record, there was no audition where you had to scream.
No, we had no knowledge. They didn't tell us beforehand.
They didn't let us know ahead of time. They're like, yeah, you're gonna be screaming for the rest of your lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the next 3 seasons, it's nothing but screaming. Minor talking, all screaming.
So I wanted to say, I feel like aside from the basic survival skills that you were part of how you guys stayed alive in the show, I feel like another part of it really was the friendship or the bond that the characters developed. I wanted to know what advice you guys have for other kids concerning friendships and how to care for them.
I think friendships are important to remember, that finding people that you get along with is super important part of it. But I also think finding people that challenge you in a good, positive way is also really important to have, because you don't want to have friends that are just like, oh yes, that's a brilliant idea, even though it's a totally awful idea to do. You want friends that challenge you, that make you see outside the box. I love having friends that have different points of view about anything in life, really, because then you get to discuss things, and you get to open your mind up to so many different thoughts that might have never even crossed your mind to begin with. And to be able to have different friends of different backgrounds, you learn different cultures, you learn how they live their life, and things like that. And I've always been, a big part of just loving to be optimistic, and sort of have that type of nature where I'm like I'm more of like a motherly type. So I like to be the mother hen of my group. Like, I'm like the schedule planner. I get everybody together and prepare that kind of stuff. Whereas I have other people that are not like that at all, that are completely totally different than me, but yet we still get along, because at the end of the day there's a mutual respect for each other. And I think with friendships, you got to go in with respect and with love and compassion, and an open mind to learn how people think and how they move, and how they grow.
Yeah, 100%. Like Rainey was saying, one thing that I always aim for when I'm looking for a friendship is inclusiveness and diversity, because I always want, like Rainey was saying about being the mother hen, I'm always trying to get everybody to get along and be like one big happy family, like no matter where you come from, no matter if you came from Africa or Europe or Asia, wherever. And also, like Rainey was saying, I also feel that friendships definitely need, it can't just be always yes, this, that, all of this, I agree with all of this. Sometimes you need constructive criticism, because that's how you grow as a person. Changing things up is what helps you grow, instead of always keeping them the same. But yeah, like Rainey was saying, you always have to go into a friendship with compassion and love and respect for the other person, because like the golden rule always says, you got to treat others the way you want to be treated. And um, this is kind of like a saying to some of the people that are sometimes negative about friendships, is it's not really, you have to focus on the loving side of it rather than the flaws. And I know that's something that a lot of people have trouble with, is because sometimes you can't help but see the flaws in a person, but you have to figure out how to get past those flaws and see the loving heart inside of them that's really trying. So yeah, just never give up, really. Of course, in a positive way.
Yeah, of course. And I feel like we really did get that with all of the characters, where you did watch them slowly kind of unwrap themselves and show everybody who they really are. And, everybody they went through the natural struggles of friendships, and, building them and losing them a little bit. So you guys did a great job.
And I think
Thank you.
Thank you. And I think what's important too is in a friendship, there's always gonna be conflict. There could be moments when you don't agree on something, or you don't see eye to eye, or want it your way and somebody else wants it their way. And I think the show does a good job of showing understanding and compromise. And okay, you might see it this way and I might see it this way. I understand that. I hear you. I'm listening to you, and we'll resolve it and we'll figure out a solution. Maybe we can try both ways, or see which way ends up working out the best for the group, or in that situation the duo of whatever they're trying to go through. And I think that's important too, because you don't want to be a friend that's negative, and you don't want to be with a friend that's negative, because like Paul said, it's something about constructive criticism, but it's another thing about just being with a friend because you're afraid to say no to them because they could turn into a bully. So it's just learning that balance of, you want to be with a friend that makes you feel good inside at all times, that makes you feel comfortable and makes you feel safe and makes you feel like you can be open and honest with them. And I feel like that's what these characters um have a good thing about doing. Obviously, in season 3, we'll touch up on some things that happened before, and some traumatic experiences that all 6 of these kids have been through, that they really didn't feel comfortable talking about at the time. And now in season 3, some of it comes to light on why they're doing what they're doing, and it really helps show the other kids, oh, okay, so you were doing this because XYZ. Got it. See, I thought you were doing it because of this reason, but I understand now, and I'm sorry for what I said, and I'm sorry for how I acted. And I think that's really important to have in a friendship, is that openness and that communication skills of love and understanding.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And I just have to pull out this quote that I got reminded of real quick. Was my friend, he summed up this conversation perfectly in the way of, you know, someone is a real friend when you can insult each other and know that your friendship won't be affected by it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just felt like I had to say that.
So if they really did have a real life Camp Cretaceous minus the carnivores, would you go? And what would be the first thing that you would have to do based on all the activities in the show?
Oh, heck yes. 100%. Totally. My favorite dinosaur is a herbivore, the Ankylosaurus, which is bumpy. So, I mean, that'd probably be my first thing, was reliving that moment in Jurassic World where they're in their gyrosphere riding through the forest, looking at all of the Ankylosauruses. That would be the highlight of my life, 100%.
Yeah. I agree 100% too. If there was not that too many carnivores, I definitely would go to Jurassic World. I do not want to be eaten. I for sure would get on the gyrosphere. I'm scared of heights, so the zip line would be out of question for me. And the gyrosphere to me is a safer bet, being on the ground and watching all that. I would for sure do that in a heartbeat.
So no zip line and dinosaur calls or anything like that.
If they taught me at Camp Cretaceous how to do dinosaur calls correctly, then yes, I definitely would. like a dinosaur petting zoo. I would love to do that as well. Getting to see the baby, or getting to go to Dr. Wu's genetics lab and watching the dinosaurs hatch. I would love to do that as well. Learn more about it, the science behind it. As long as I'm not going to get eaten, I will for sure go.
I love that nod to the original film, though. That was something that I loved about that. I know that scene. The series, so many nods, and I love it.
Yes. Yeah, it's like a love letter to the fans. We love it so much. Our writers take so much joy and getting to put little Easter egg and tidbits in it, you know, and we enjoy getting to read it ourselves and see that and know how excited the fans will get when they get to that part. And then I love going online and when they send them to me of like, I noticed this and I saw this and I saw that. I'm like, yes, they're noticing the fun that we're putting into it.
And occasionally in the original scripts, they would literally write something like this is so and so from the original movie, or this is an Easter egg with like two asterisks on each side of the sentence.
Yeah,
I was like,
in one of my scripts, it said, "Is this blue, perhaps?" And I was like, "Is it blue? Because I put blue in the show." Like I'm the same way. I'm like, "Was it blue? Tell me, Scott. Is it?" So.
That was me and my 8-year-old. We were like, is it? I think so. Let's just wait and find out.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with me today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey guys, thanks for taking the time today. Tessa
Hello.
With mamasgeeky.com, and we love the show. Huge fan. My kids love it. I love that it's something I can watch with my kids, but without spoilers. Can you talk, because I know that's hard, can you talk about what we can expect, what fans can expect from season 3 for your characters?
You want to take this one?
I was just gonna say lots of character development, lots of new character pairings together, some new jump scares and thrills, family friendly, of course, so you can still watch it with your kids, but definitely a little bit more, which is really, really fun to get into, because of course, what we know about the Jurassic franchise is all about the scary dinosaurs and the scary things that happen on Isla Nublar for sure, and lots of just fun, I think, memories for the characters too. Speaking solely for Sammy, she does a lot of soul searching of why she's at Camp Cretaceous, which is for her family back home, and what that means to her, and what it means, you know, about helping her newfound camp family on Isla Nublar, and lots of fun new character development stuff that I'm excited for the fans to see.
Awesome. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree 100%. The character pairings that happen in the season are probably one of my favorite things to happen in this season, because you get to see all of these new relationships that start to build. I gotta say, the dinosaurs have never stopped amazing me in the show. I can't shout out the animators enough for making such a fantastic show. And I also have to give credit to the audio mixers. That's something that I haven't done in a while because they are doing this day in and day out, 4 hours of recordings, and they're all putting it together. So shout out to them. And also in season 3, back to what I was saying about the dinosaurs, is you're going to see a lot of different dinosaurs in the season, and you're also going to see a dinosaur that's never been seen before. Well, I mean, we've technically seen it, but yeah, yeah,
Some new
that's
unrevealed threats on the
right.
island, for
Mhm.
sure.
And I this isn't a spoiler, but some of these threats aren't going to be dinosaurs either. So you might get a little something from season 2 with Mitch and Tiff into season 3. You never know.
You never know. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Hi, guys. I'm so excited to talk to both of you today because I love Darius and I love Sammy because the characters are both so unabashedly optimistic and excited about everything. So I'm just wondering, how close are your characters to you in real life?
Yeah.
You have no idea.
Very, very, very similar for sure. I always tell people, me and Sammy are exactly the same, except she's like a very 10 times heightened version of myself for sure. We both are from Texas. We both, have big Latino families. We're both energetic. We're both fun. We're both optimistic. And we both love to be the mother figures, like the nurturers of the group. Immediately, when Sammy gets to Camp Cretaceous, she's like, all right, everybody's going to be a family. Here we go. Camp fam for life. And even though some of them might not immediately jump at the idea of working together or being friends or talking more, Sammy is not about that life. She's like, no, I'm gonna hug you guys until your outer warm shell breaks and you love me. and for me, I love everybody to get along. And when we started the show and the show was getting close to premiering, I started a group chat with all of us together, and we celebrate out, remind everybody of people's birthdays, and we'll send each other articles about the show or fan art or fan theories that we find funny. And I just love that. Sammy and I are very, very similar. I'm so lucky to get to voice her.
Yeah, and I have to agree with Raini all the way. Our characters are like on a whole other level of being compared to us. One thing that I definitely feel like I take from Darius is his optimism also. And also the feeling of wanting to keep people happy and always bring a smile to people's faces. Darius has definitely done that, sometimes to a point where he's made some extremely terrible jokes. But yeah, and I also feel like I try to bring the perseverance that Darius has into my life, because I know that if I'm ever so lucky to voice a character that has this will and this leadership, despite having the fear to do so, I know that I will get more stuff done in my lifetime and in my day. And it's just, all of these characters are so inspiring because they bring all of these positive qualities that everybody needs in life.
Yeah, absolutely. You can feel the enthusiasm. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
So let's stay on the character topic, because I want to know how you get into the character when you're about to record. I mean, you're being chased by big dinosaurs and stuff. How do you get into character to voice that?
Yeah, you start with a lot of tea. You have to get a lot of tea, a lot of throat coat tea, chamomile tea, peppermint tea, to get ready for all the screaming that you're about to do. Guarantee every episode you're screaming like crazy. And it's actually a joke when we get to go, oh, we're not screaming in this scene. Okay, that's nice. Or, oh, we're not running. Woo, great, because I forgot to stretch this morning. It's quite funny to be in a booth all by yourself right now during quarantine when we're, sort of separated and recording in our own booths. I have to warn my family, hold the dog back. I'm about to start screaming in 2 scenes, so nothing's happening. It's just me by myself in my living room, running from dinosaurs that I don't actually see.
So you're recording from home through this too?
Yes. I'm in my living room. This is my recording booth right now, actually. It's made out of PVC pipe and furniture moving blankets. And we literally just built it in the corner of our living room. And I'm in Texas right now. So I was able to record a lot of season 3 here. So it was really fun to scream in the middle of nowhere in my living room and just kind of, like I said, I tell my family, either y'all can leave or y'all can stay, but I will be screaming and heavy breathing for most of it. You just gotta work on your breathing exercises to get through it all.
Yeah. And I think that before quarantine, I had always, like Raini was saying, I had always had to get tea before I went into a session because I knew I was going to be screaming and breathing and all of this crazy stuff. To the point where one of the recording places that we went to, they're like, hey, do you want the usual? And I'm like, wait, what's the usual? And they're like, oh, what you always get, peppermint throat coat tea. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know there was a usual. Okay, yeah. So it's like getting into characters definitely, it's a crazy process because, you never run from dinosaurs in real life. I mean, not that I know of, but yeah, and I definitely feel like getting into character is really fun too, because on top of like this screaming and yelling, there's also you also get the sense of camaraderie from all of the campers that are at Jurassic World, and building those relationships is the most fun thing that I've ever done on this show.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being with us today. Enjoy the show with my kids. So thank you very much.
Thank you guys for watching.
I'm sorry?
Thank you guys for watching.
Oh, please. It's fun. We're always looking for family things to do. So that's good. So what sort of fun, exciting things can your viewers expect from season 3? You've been doing it for a while now. So what makes this one so awesome?
Man.
So many fun things for sure. We touch up on, some more character development for the kids. We really get to know, who they are at their core, really, especially in season 3. There's a lot of fun pairings that get to happen. We've bonded and formed our friendships of season 1 and season 2, but season 3 is kind of a little bit of shakeup of, people getting to know other characters. Sammy, for instance, gets to have a little bit more fun with Kenji, which we haven't really seen this past 2 seasons. So for them to sort of get to act like the goofballs and laugh and make jokes and things like that is really fun to see. I feel like we've come a long way between Sammy and Brooklyn from season 1, when, of course, they were fighting a lot because of Sammy stealing her phone and things like that. In season 3, we get to see them sort of band together and do some detective work on the island to see what's going on. And then, of course, Sammy and Yasmina just continue on their friendship and building it to make it stronger. Definitely some new jump scares and thrills, but also some really nice emotional tug at the heartstrings moments as well, which is what I think makes a well-rounded show. We get to see the kids have a lot of fun being kids, but also get to see them in their most vulnerable moments, because of course at the end of the day they're trying to get off an island that's overrun by dinosaurs. So we get to see all that happen at one time.
Yeah, I definitely have to say, like, the relationships between these characters are I think, was I the only one that heard that?
I heard it too.
No, you weren't the only one. It's not just you.
Okay, just making sure. But yeah, I definitely feel like the relationships with these characters are like one of my favorite things about the season, because in seasons 1 and 2, they never really got a break from, running from dinosaurs and trying to stay alive. And in season 3, it's their family / friendship kind of gets cemented a little bit. Another thing in season 3 is this new crazy E750 dinosaur that's coming out. It's still my favorite thing about this season by far. I gotta say, like Raini was saying, there's some small little jump scares here and there that definitely like immerse you. The animation is just phenomenal. It is spectacular in the season. It just keeps getting better. But yeah, definitely the one thing that I love about the season is how the characters develop, because they face a lot of them face things that they've gone through but haven't really addressed. And that also goes to show the relatability with this show, because sometimes as humans, we refuse to go back at things that we might regret or that we might have been traumatized by. And seeing something like this happen in that season, to go back and reflect on what's happened before, it's like, it just warms my heart every time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello again.
Hello.
I want to ask about your characters as well, because like you guys, we've already talked about just how positive they are and how great they are. Love both of the characters, honestly. Two of my favorites in the whole show, to be honest.
Thank you.
But I'm curious, what do you want people, kids especially, but families in general, to take away from your characters?
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, bud.
The one thing that I always want people to take away from characters like Darius and Sammy, and things that I take away myself, are their optimism in the worst of circumstances. In season 3, we see a lot of stuff happen with these characters. Darius is going through some major conflict that we had seen in season 1 and season 2. Sammy has a really big scare this season that of course I can't go into, but it's the level of like optimism and kind of like friendship and family that we see in specifically this season, it starts to get cemented in this season. And that's one thing that I always want to take away. Raini was saying this earlier, is the teamwork building that also comes with this show, because they're all from totally different backgrounds and they've figured out this way to thrive and survive with each other and still have fun despite being on this crazy dinosaur island where dinosaurs are constantly chasing them. So yeah,
I agree with Paul. It's something really special to be a part of this show. We have 6 amazing characters that all have the opportunity to teach so many different things from their own backgrounds and from their own personalities. Speaking solely about Sammy, she's all about strength. She's all about helping people and being optimistic about it, that there is a way out and we will get off the island, and as long as we stay together and work together and be a family, we can get off this island together. And some of that is touched up on in season 3, questions about what if they get off the island, what happens next. And Sammy doesn't think that far ahead. In that moment, she's very much, no, together we will survive and together we will be. And that's sort of how she is. And I think also we have such strong female characters as well, which is super fun to see. Not only just from, different ethnicity backgrounds, but just different personalities, and watching them all, mixed together. Sammy's all about strength. She's all about being herself and not being afraid to show who she is. And I know, speaking of Darius's character, personally, my nephew, he's 4. And he tells everybody his favorite character is Darius. And when you ask him why, and he's like, oh, because Darius is the leader, and Darius knows all about the dinosaurs, and Darius is so smart. And for him to pick up on that at such a young age and realize, who Darius is, and to feel what he feels and know that he wants to be like that, I think is something truly special. And I feel like our writers do such an amazing job of writing for all of our characters, and then showcasing all of their different strengths and their weaknesses and where they can grow as people, and to show real life conflict between 6 kids that are trapped on an island together, that have no choice but to band together because they definitely won't make it by themselves, and to showcase that camaraderie and that friendship together of their personalities and things like that, I think is something really special to get to see. And in season 3, we get to see a lot of that. So I'm very, very excited to hear how the fans respond to it.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I have to add on, I have to add on one more thing. Is one thing that people don't really realize about this show is all of these characters have this underlying feeling of like courage in everything that they're going through, because being on this island for quite a long time, you have to, it's hard to think about like how much these characters have to persevere through and how much courage they have to have despite being in life-threatening danger every hour of every day. So I feel like that's definitely something that I've always wanted other people to learn from these 6 characters, is to always persevere. And even though you might have fear, boldness and bravery and courage is looking fear in the eye and going past it. So yeah, I'm definitely excited for people to see that, especially in season 3.
Yeah. There's a lot of that. The kids are going to go through a lot of that this season. So it's going to be fun to watch them, face that and sort of go through their inner conflict of what they're going to do. I mean, they are only like 12 and 13 years old, so.
Listen, they're braver than me. I'd be hiding the whole time. I'd find one spot. That's where I would stay. That's all I would do.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, I didn't know. I wasn't ready. I thought it was Amy next. But I mean, you were talking about the franchise and just being a part of it. And so many people from the movies is a part of this, right? From the original movies. Steven Spielberg. So that's what I wanted to ask. Have you ever met him or got to work with him or get advice from him or anything like that?
Oh my gosh. I remember my mom is always telling me, like, always dress right because you never know if Steven or somebody is going to be in the booth that day. But I mean, I don't entirely know specifically because my mom, back when we were recording in the booth, my mom was actually telling me about how I was like walking into the booth and I was passing all of these famous people like Tom Kenny and all of these like crazy voice actors. Mm-hmm. And I was like, it was insane because like this one time I sat down and I was sitting next to Frank Welker and I had no idea who he was. And for those who don't know who Frank Welker is, he's the voice of, Scooby-Doo, Curious George, all these crazy like shows. But I don't know. I might have seen him, but I wouldn't remember.
I would know if Steven Spielberg was in my booth, and he was not. He has not been yet. Steven, if you're watching this, please come visit us when we're recording. We would incredibly be so grateful if you could just come see us in person. Huge fans. Love what you've done with the franchise. Thank you for hiring us. Big fan. No, it is.
And surprise, he's here. No.
Amanda's like, I called some people. Steven's on his way. No, my mom tells me the same thing. She's always like, always, dress appropriate. You never know who might be there. Steven could show up one day. We've definitely heard great feedback from his whole team and his whole department of just, their love for the show and how it exceeded expectations and they're so excited, and we love hearing that sort of thing and that motivation to get us excited about the show and whatnot. I mean, just the legendary names behind it by itself is, I mean, that's just one of the reasons why we are so excited to be a part of this show. It's truly special, and to have such iconic names behind this franchise is like, I mean, it's just wild. To me, it's just wild to be a part of this.
Definitely.
So hi again. Hi. I think one of the reasons the show works, there's kind of two main ones: the diverse, amazing group of main characters, and then the fact that the show is not afraid to go dark and get a little violent. It doesn't kind of baby step around the fact that you guys are out there, being chased by dinosaurs. I'm just wondering, are we going to get more of that? How deep does it go in season 3?
I'm sorry, I can't help but laugh at that.
Yeah. Season 3 is all about that for sure. Season 3 takes it to a whole nother level. Absolutely. We've been very lucky to be able to tell the stories that our writers have wanted to tell and add, make our little mark in the Jurassic franchise world. So to be able to provide some, extra fun scares and thrills and new threats that we get to reveal on our show, because again, you have so many different dinosaurs that are being discovered even to this day. So to see what they've done in the original movies, the Jurassic World movies now, the books, the comic series, all these type of things that they've had, and to be able to say like our show can add an extra scare or two into the franchise to make like iconic dinosaurs or iconic moments is so cool. Season 3 is definitely full of those moments for sure. I mean, every season so far we've seen the kids try to get off the island, and I feel like this season especially, it's a bigger threat than they've ever imagined that is coming towards them. That's going to motivate them even more. And a lot of the times that we've seen, like in season 2, for season 3, some of the threats might not necessarily be dinosaurs. It could be other things that are on the island itself, and I'm really excited for the fans to get to see that and go on that journey with us.
And one thing that I love about the show is it's like you said, it's not afraid to like get to the darker side of things. And I also feel like it's good preparation for opening up the younger generation to the Jurassic franchise, because it's not overly, it's not, you know, gory or violent. Like it has some qualities, but it keeps it general to where kids can also watch it and love it too. But I also feel that like it opens up younger generations to some of the more not difficult to watch, but like some of the more out there stuff in the normal Jurassic Park and Jurassic World movies. And I'm just so happy to be a part of something that can open up the door to something as amazing as this franchise. And in season 3, there are a lot of there are a lot of jump scares. They're not too bad. They're just like here and there. But man, I can't wait for you guys to see season 3, because again, I'm always going to shout out the animators and the writers who did such an amazing job creating this show. And like, we wouldn't be here without them. So thank you guys so much.
Yeah, for sure. Season 3, the stakes are definitely higher than they've ever been. So that's what I'll leave you with.
Yeah, I'm excited for everybody to get a chance to see season 3 too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello again.
Hello.
Hello.
So I'd love, and it's sort of like a basic question, but I'd love to know what you love about the series and what you love about being a part of the Jurassic franchise.
The first thing that always comes to mind when people ask me what I love about this show is the people that came together to create the show. Because from all of these, even the cast came from all of these different backgrounds. Literally everybody in the cast is a different ethnicity. And the themes of this show always make me feel like, always like fill me with pride, because of like, you know, the themes of girl power and people from different places accomplishing all of these things together. It's definitely something that we really need in the world right now. That's my answer.
First of all, I agree with Paul 100%. I love that we all come from different diverse backgrounds and we're able to showcase so many different types of personalities working together for a common goal. But I also love the fact that this show could be categorized as action adventure, but also family style. I love that. I have 10 nieces and nephews myself. So to be able to find something that we all can watch together that has, you know, just enough thrills and scares, but also still has that family aspect of it behind it, I think is really, really special. And I think my favorite part of the whole as a franchise is, you know, in all the different Jurassic movies that we've seen, kids are in the movies and they have important parts, but they've never been the main focal point. And in Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, the show is all about the kids. It's about 6 kids on an island who are stuck. And it shows what they would do. I mean, these are young kids. We're talking like 12 to 16 years old, of what they would do and how they would fight to stay alive and try to get off and move forward and band together. And I love being able to showcase that kids can do anything if they put their minds to it. Mind you, I wouldn't recommend going and getting trapped on an island full of dinosaurs. But if you did, I think we have some good tips for you guys for sure in our show. But I love the whole action adventure family aspect of it. That to me just makes me so happy to be a part of it, because then I know a lot of families can watch it together and laugh and cry with it and get super excited like we do when we're recording it.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
I'm ready this time. So I love that. I was just listening to you all talk about, you know, the friendship and stuff, but it got me thinking, you know, other than your own character, what characters would you choose to, or even your one of your favorites, and why? Because what qualities do they possess that make them that?
Oof. I mean, having to pick our favorite characters other than ourselves is always so hard, because it's like everyone brings such great qualities to their characters, and I feel like everybody's character is so well rounded, and so just alive when it comes to watching what they do and how they move and how they think and talk at Camp Cretaceous. I personally, I love Darius. I love Paul's character. I think he is so smart and so kind, and him being the youngest, I think it's so tough to come into a situation like he was, where he was like very overly enthusiastic to come in and sort of get that environment where like, oh, maybe not everybody feels the same way that I do. But at the same time, he's so not afraid to just continue being his dino nerd self that everybody calls him. He's not afraid to showcase that. And I love that about him. I love the knowledge that he has about the jungle and the dinosaurs and Isla Nublar and Camp Cretaceous. I mean, he's sort of like, I feel like Darius is like the Jurassic fan at home. That's like, oh, that's me, that's Darius. Is like, I feel like every fan that I've ever met is like a Darius, where they know so much about the show in every way, shape, and form. I would love to be Sean's character Ben, just because of the whole character 180 he did from season 1 to season 2, of being like scared, timid, shy Ben, and then being like super cool Ben that can defeat dinosaurs. Of course, you know, being Yasmina would be super fun too, because that is so different from me, of just her being like an introvert and very quiet and very, you know, thought provoking and things like that. I think it's always important to see things from other people's point of view, which is nice. And I love that relationship between Yaz and Sammy, how, you know, they're complete yin and yang, but yet they bring out the best in each other, which I think is really sweet. Also, it'd be really cool just to be a dinosaur in general, just to get to voice that as well. Oh, you're on mute.
Oh, you're muted.
I was just saying, do they have that? Do they have people that are like, rah, like for the dinosaurs, or?
Well, our director,
Us.
yeah, our director does it for us. Our voice director will be the dinosaur for us when we're recording. She'll go, and then, you know, like in season 1, she'll be like, and then Tora walks up and action, and so
Yeah.
do for us. So yes, she will sometimes Scott, our co-creator, will come in and he'll be like, oh yeah, so this dinosaur, guys, kind of sounds like this, or this dinosaur will look like let me show you like a sketch of what we're thinking for this dinosaur. So we'll get some inside scoop of that. But yeah, I don't know how they get the sounds for the dinosaurs, their voices, but our director Serena will voice them for us, so that's always a treat.
And yeah, I feel like, I don't know, Raini, have they had you do dinosaur noises on this show too?
Like as Sammy doing noises?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have to do like dinosaur calls to like if we're doing a distraction of some sort, like some weird dinosaur noises. Or if I'm trying to like I don't know, like yeah, I think that's the only reason why I did them, for like a distraction of some sort, or like trying to get away from something else. I've had to do a couple of fun dinosaur noises and they sound strange every time. At one point, one of my noises came out like a goat. So I was like, that does not sound right to me. So it's just finding that balance of what animal am I channeling today for my inner dinosaur noise.
Yeah, man, I always get embarrassed when somebody mentions like that scene when we're on the zip line and I'm doing those dinosaur calls. I'm like, oh gosh, she sounds so terrible. But
it's also funny because we're in our booths like by ourselves, or if we're recording in person, there's like 6 people behind the glass wall, like watching you, you know,
yeah.
like you're like, this feels silly. Is this right? Is this what you want? It always feels silly, especially even when you're by yourself and everybody's watching via Zoom. You feel very silly trying to make noises in your living room.
Yeah.
That's fun. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
You guys had to work on season 3 using quarantine protocols and recording from home. I'm wondering what you're the most excited about doing when you're finally able to be in person again with your Jurassic team.
To be honest, I would just love to get back in the studio and start recording with my cast, because those were like by far the best moments of my life. Just the camaraderie and having like all of this fun. And probably we would have to do it out of the booth, because whenever we're in the booth, we're always cracking jokes and we're never actually working. So, so yeah, just to get with other people and, you know, have some fun.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. I miss the in-person interactions. For sure, I would love to hug everybody. That's like my favorite thing. And we do that a lot too, like in between our takes and stuff like that. Like we'll sit in our chairs, or we'll just like kneel on the floor. If it's not a scene like, you know, for example, if we're all 6 in the booth together, and it's a scene just between Paul and Sean, well then, you know, Ryan, Cause Jenna, myself, we'll sit down on chairs that they have, or like we'll sit on the floor and we'll just like not talk but talk. So we'll be like, and then like Jenna will like, because she always wears a fanny pack, she'll like unzip her fanny pack and like show everybody what she brought. Or like we'll sit there and like show each other pictures, or I'll videotape. I have a couple of fun videos that I have to release eventually of like, I'll videotape people that are recording if they're doing something really silly or funny that we think is hilarious. Then we'll do that. But we for sure had some good laughs on Zoom as well. But I miss the in-person interactions, absolutely. Plus, they give us cookies at the studio, and that's always really fun too.
Oh yeah, cookies and hugs are the best.
Yeah,
So, and I can't wait to see the videos you recorded behind the scenes.
Yes, I'll have to put them out. Make sure that it's appropriate. I don't give out any spoilers.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Lynette
Thank you.
from Fantastic Life.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
So since you guys have the inside scoop, I'd love to know any fun facts you may have about the show that the audience may not know. It could be from this season or any season if you want to share some goodies for us.
Some
Fun facts.
Don't hold back.
Ooh, let me think. Hold on. Give me a minute.
Fun facts. Is this about the show in general?
Yeah, I mean, like any Easter eggs that have been incorporated that you're aware of, or maybe about your characters, anything.
Okay. As for Easter eggs, there are a lot of Easter eggs in the first and second season, and then there are even more in season 3. Like season 3 is packed to the brim with stuff that you will see from Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. As you saw probably in the season 3 trailer, the kids get to visit the original Jurassic Park aviary. So, I mean, there are a lot of fun things in there that you might notice.
In particular, sometimes when we record voiceovers, there's something called ADR, which is like additional dialogue recording. And sometimes we'll go in and like fix a line or do something of that nature. I don't want to give too much away for season 3, so I'll talk about something in season 2. In season 2, when the kids are eating the frozen pizzas on Main Street, and then the little compies, they come and take our pizzas away. So when we originally recorded that, obviously we all scream and react when the dinosaurs like jump out at us. And when I first read the script, I read it as a dinosaur. So I'm thinking like, okay, a T-Rex or like a velociraptor, something much bigger than a baby compy. And so when we recorded it, I mean, my scream was like bloody murder screaming of them taking the pizzas away. And then they called me back in and they're like, hey, Raini, so we actually need to re-record this. We're going to play you some of the sketch animation of what we've come up with. And this is why we need to re-record. And the dinosaurs literally like come up to our kneecaps. Like they're like ankle dinosaurs. And they're like, and my reaction was so big compared to how small they really were. And how much they didn't even touch us. They just took the pizzas. So that was something that I had to like go back in and re-record. And that was probably maybe like a month before we released the show. Sometimes we'll go in. I re-recorded some fun stuff for season 3 as well. You know, a line that was added or two, or something to add a little bit extra to the animation that they've drawn to. And so getting to do that sort of at the last minute is really fun, because then I get to get a peek of the show, because when we record, we don't get to see much animation, if any at all. So to be able to get like a little sneak peek of that. And so that was a little fun tidbit from season 2, that Sammy's reaction at first was quite large until they realized it was baby compy and it didn't need to be that big.
Well, if they stole my pizza, I would yell that way too, but that's more about the pizza.
That's what I'm trying to say. Them kids are hungry.
It's justified.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.